All right, I did it.
You did it. Welcome, my brother. Welcome.
Thank you.
How's it going?
I'm going really good. How about you?
Good. How was your day? You did it.
I did it. Oh, it's on my computer as well.
How's it going?
I'm going really good.
There's a huge.
You did it. I did it. Oh, it's on my computer. Okay, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, I had it on the computer and on my phone, so I just switched one of them off.
Good.
All right.
So how's your day?
It's been a busy day. As you know, I have an IT job during the day.
Well, we're going to get to that. We're going to get to that.
All right.
All right. But tell us who you are, where you're from, and what you do.
All right. I'm Kyle Lee, and I operate the business Ceramic Meltdown, which is ceramic business, and I also work during the day as an IT director for a major healthcare company in New York City. Born in White Plains, New York.
Ah, okay.
Up in Westchester. And,
yeah, I'm in Yonkers.
What's that?
I'm in Yonkers.
Oh, okay. All right.
And my yard is in Hartsdale.
Okay. All right. Yep. Didn't stay there very long. And I was actually born in White Plains, but parents then picked up and moved to Pittsburgh.
Okay.
Lived in Pittsburgh for about 10 years.
Whoa. One second.
Yeah.
All right. So we're going to go through all of that.
Okay.
All right.
All right.
So first, I'm going to ask you a series of questions. And after the questions, then we get into your journey.
Okay.
All right. What word or phrase do you overuse?
Probably OMG.
Okay. What is your least favorite thing to do?
Least favorite thing to do is wash dishes.
What is your most favorite thing to do?
Most favorite thing to do? Another silly one, but it's pizza. I love eating pizza.
What kind of pizza?
I'll do like pepperoni. I love onions on pizza. So I could just do a straight onion pizza.
Red onions or white onions?
No, white onions, yeah.
Red onions are too strong.
No, I haven't tried that one yet.
Okay. Do you prefer the onions grilled or just put the raw onions on the cheese and throw it in?
Raw onions on the cheese and throw it in. Let the onions cook.
Okay.
Yeah.
How long have you been eating onion pizza?
Probably longer than I should mention.
All right. Where's your favorite pizza place?
It's called Stromboli, and it's on the corner of First Avenue and St. Mark's Place in Manhattan.
Yeah, familiar with it. What is the one thing your significant other would like to change about you?
Well, there is no significant other, but
okay.
we can assume that it would be my cat, and and what my cat would change is that I'm home all the
time. How old is your cat?
She's probably about 10 years old.
Okay. All right. I got one too.
Oh, okay.
A lot easier to deal with than dogs.
What's that?
A lot easier to deal with than dogs.
Oh, yes, definitely.
All right. So if you had to go cross country on a motorcycle, who would you go with?
Who would I go with? Ooh. I think I have a buddy in Albuquerque, New Mexico. He already has a bike. So I would probably go with him. He has a Ducati.
All right. Okay. All right. What makes you tick?
What makes me tick? I would most likely say like being organized, being like, I'm really meticulous when it comes to being organized and planning things.
Okay. What irks you the most?
Oh, that's easy. Lateness.
Okay. Have you always been, do you show up on time or earlier?
I always show up earlier.
Do you show up earlier and wait outside until it's time to walk in on time, or do you walk in early?
It depends on the situation. If it was something like a job interview, I'll wait outside and be on time. But if it's waiting on friends, I'll go in, grab a glass of wine before they get there, and just chill.
Okay.
Yeah.
What sound makes you happiest?
A sound?
What sound makes you happiest?
Ooh, let's see. What sound makes me happy? You know, that's a difficult one. I guess, you know what? Yeah, I'm gonna say the sound of food cooking on a barbecue grill.
All right. All
Yeah.
right. Grilling and chilling.
Grilling and chilling.
What sound bothers you the most?
People spitting. That whole sound of somebody spitting, it drives me insane.
That didn't take you long to come up with. What is your favorite cuss word?
It'd be the FU.
Okay. What profession, other than your own, would you like to try?
Well, it's a little late to be trying other things, but
Never. Never.
No,
Never.
I don't know, but I was gonna say legal, an attorney.
Okay.
I think I have all the like dig into the particulars and kind of like characteristics. So I think an attorney would work for me.
Okay.
That's my brother, though. He took that job.
All right. Now, where's your brother?
He's in Mountain View, California.
Okay. Jackie Jackson said you would be a great attorney.
Yes, Jackie would say that.
What would you want on your tombstone?
On my tombstone, pepperoni and onions.
Touche. All right, so now we get into your journey.
Okay.
So we want to start from high school to now, and all of the things that have guided you to where you are. The tech is great, but I'm more interested in the art part. So I guess as we tell the story, I can pick out which direction we're going with that. So
okay. All right. So I was in high school in Monroeville, Pennsylvania, which is about 20 minutes outside of Pittsburgh. I've always been drawing and painting and, working with canvas, and I've always had some kind of art influence and been working in some medium. After high school,
one second. Did you work in high school?
I
Any
worked,
sports, music?
I worked in high school. I worked underage, worked in a nightclub as a bartender. And
Wait, what side of town?
What side of town?
Was it on our side of town?
No.
Okay.
It was in Monroeville. It was in Monroeville.
I don't know Monroeville.
It was okay. So it's 20 minutes outside of Pittsburgh, and it was kind of in the burbs, not necessarily downtown Pittsburgh.
Okay.
Yeah, and it was right down the street from my house.
So how did you get a bartending job underage in a bar?
I started there as a waiter. It was called the Spaghetti Factory, and then the owners, who were let's say connected, decided to turn it into a discotheque. And since I was working there already, they asked me if I wanted to be the bartender.
Yeah, I worked in the hospitality for 20 years. That's how that works.
Yeah.
Hey, we need you behind the bar.
Right.
Just like that.
Yep.
Okay.
And no, it was great. It was a lot of fun. I met a lot of people, from the surrounding neighborhoods and people my age at the time, and
underage kids.
Oh yeah. The whole thing was not so legit.
A free for all.
Yeah,
so,
pretty much.
How long did you bartend?
I was there for maybe about 6 months.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. That's a lot of mischief.
Yeah. I was good at that. I was good
Yeah.
at that back then.
Because I was in high school and I was a waiter in a restaurant. I was a busboy
Mm-hmm.
in a restaurant. And I was one of the youngest.
Okay.
And I had a lot of, and I did it for a while, 2 years. And I shouldn't have had that job.
Right.
Because it's all adults.
Yeah.
And I'm a junior, senior high school. And I thought I was kind of mature, but looking back on it, and I thought about it years after.
Yeah.
It was way too grown.
It was way too grown.
Yeah. And when you're young, you want to be grown.
Right.
It was way too grown. All right. So after high school,
I had other jobs back then too, though. I was working as a camp counselor.
There you go.
Yeah, doing stuff like that. So I had a few other things.
After high school, then what?
After high school, I went to college at Edinburgh College and University in Pennsylvania.
Okay.
Which is up in Erie, PA, or Edinburgh, PA, near Erie, PA, near Buffalo. I was forced to study business administration because my parents really didn't want me to study. I wanted to study art, and my parents did not want that. They were like, you got to make some money, you got to study the business.
Got to get a real job.
Right, exactly. But what they don't know, and they won't be watching this anyhow, is that I switched my major midway to an art major.
Wait, and they still don't know that?
No, they don't know. No. So, yeah, I never let that one go. I'm taking that to the grave.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're in college.
But I didn't finish school there. So there was a point that I left the school because my parents had left the state, and
Jackie Jackson just said, "Oh, I'm telling."
Yeah, she knows better. She knows there'll be some Prosecco on the roof pretty soon. I'll make her forget. Yeah, so I ended up moving to DC shortly after that.
Where?
I was living in Fort Washington, Maryland. I made it all around the whole metropolitan area there.
I lived in Fort Washington.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Yeah. My grandparents lived there as well.
Yep, I lived in Let me tell you a quick story.
Uh-huh.
I was at Tuskegee, and I was freshman class president, and I wanted to go work in the White House. I was freshman class president, and I got an internship on Capitol Hill.
Okay.
For Bob Livingston. And I'm walking around Tuskegee's campus asking anyone if they knew someone I could stay with for the summer.
Uh-huh.
And no. And then they were like, ask Randy. and Randy was in a fashion. Light-skinned brother, curly hair, always dressed to the T.
Right.
I said, Randy, I have an internship on Capitol Hill. I need somewhere to stay. And he blew me off. Call my mom. That's what he said. So I got his number. I called his mom. I said, hey, I got an internship on Capitol Hill, but I need somewhere to stay. Can I stay with you for 30 days? She goes, okay, let me call you back. So she calls me back. She thinks about it. She calls me back. She says, okay. So I fly to DC, right? And his sister picks me up. Beautiful. And she picks me up in a Benz. So this is poor black kid from Louisiana, New Orleans.
Right,
so
right.
all of this was new to me. So we get to the house. I go to put my luggage in the garage, right? And I look up and I see this car, and the emblem on the top had double R.
Had what?
Two R's.
Okay.
And I'm like, so I go back in, we have a dinner, and this is I'm thinking.
Right.
So after dinner, I had to go back to my luggage so I can read what those double R's meant.
Right.
And it said Rolls Royce. I've never seen the Rolls Royce before, up close.
Right.
And I'm like, wow. And being from a black area, going to a black high school, going to a black college, and then seeing other black people live like this, it was completely mind-blowing for me.
Right.
And it was also motivating because I was there to work on Capitol Hill. And it was in Fort Washington. I was there for 30 days. Then after that, I did a White House internship. But that's my relationship with Fort Washington is the Rolls Royce.
Okay. Yeah, well, when I was in Fort Washington, I didn't see any Rolls Royces. I was in the wrong part. Yeah.
So did you transfer school or you just moved to DC?
Well, I ended up going to PG County Community College for a little while. Ended up moving out of my mother's house and getting my own place in DC proper.
Where?
And
Where else in DC?
It was I think it was on F Street. It was down near Howard University.
I live Georgia, New Hampshire.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's right. I mean, literally 2 blocks from Howard.
Yeah,
right.
I was about 7 or 8. I've rented a closet, a walk-in closet on top of a staircase.
Yeah, mine was actually pretty cool. It was in a townhouse, one of those older townhomes.
Yep.
I was on the ground floor. I had a backyard. It was a nice place.
Yeah,
the only thing was I didn't have any furniture. I had a mattress and I had a couple things for the kitchen, and that was it. And,
that's college.
That's
college.
It was pretty much college, yeah. Yeah, I was just starting out, so.
Yep. And everybody who came over knew it was fine.
Nobody ever came over. Nobody ever came over. I didn't have anything. I didn't have anything to anybody to come over for.
No entertaining.
Yeah.
All right. So how long were you there?
I was there. I was in DC. Well, I was in DC a good long time. I mean, but I made it around to Reston, Virginia, and Germantown, Maryland, and so I did the whole circle of metropolitan.
Did you finally get some furniture?
I did. I did. I finally got an apartment full of furniture. I ended up living down in the DuPont Circle area and had a garden apartment down there. Ended up doing some time in the, not time, but doing
The part of your journey, brother.
doing some time at the Corcoran School of Art, where I studied fine arts painting, and also that's where my eyes were drawn to ceramics. I'd never done it there though, and but I would always stare at it and passing it. And it's always been in my heart that I was supposed to do it.
So, okay, so why didn't you, when, at first sight, why didn't you try it?
Because my passion was painting. It was canvas, it was acrylic paints. That was my passion then. And I have, even in my home, I have a lot of paintings on my walls that I've done.
Oh, so can we see those later?
Yeah, totally. I'll take you around.
All right, cool.
Yeah. And then after that, probably a couple years, that's when I moved to New York.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So when you moved to New York, where first did you live?
Ooh. I lived in the East Village.
You got to think for hopping. You're not scared to move, right?
Yeah. I moved into a one-bedroom apartment that was on the corner of First Street and First Avenue, and right in the East Village there. And
now, okay,
I remember it was $800 a month.
Wow. Oh my God. Oh my God.
Yeah.
You were living it up.
I was living it up. Yeah.
Why'd you move?
Huh?
Why'd you move?
Why'd I move to New York?
No, why'd you move out of that $800 a month apartment?
Oh, it was something, there was management issues and the
because
building.
You had to.
Basically, it was me and maybe 5 other tenants in the building. And I'm glad I moved out of it, because shortly after I moved out, the building had a fire. So there was some insurance with the owners, like insurance money kind of fire situation that happened.
Got it.
So
okay.
I was already nervous being there, and had moved out just in time.
What years were you there?
I think that was 89, 90, around that time.
Right. Did you ever go to Two Boots?
Oh yeah. Two Boots is still here.
Yep.
Yeah.
They're not downtown anymore. They're spread out all over.
Yeah. They're spread out all over. I think they're still in the Lower East Side. There's one here in Brooklyn too.
Yeah, there was one uptown, but I don't know what happened to it.
Yeah. Well, they're probably all gone at this point. No.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're in Brooklyn. I mean, you're in New York, and then you moved to Brooklyn.
I was in Manhattan for a long time, and probably back in 2003 or 2002, I actually was laid off of the job that I had at that time. I was working for Dresdner Bank, which is a German investment bank. Was laid off, had a big, giant severance, and decided that I didn't want to spend all of my severance on rent. So I moved to Brooklyn, then decided that, and I got a job in New York, in Virginia. So I went back to Virginia with Fannie Mae, worked there, did my IT stuff there, and realized that I don't want to live in the suburbs anymore.
New York does that to you.
Started looking for a job while I was out there, found a job at Bloomberg, and picked up my stuff and moved back to New York City. Worked for Bloomberg, worked for the International Securities Exchange after that.
When did we pick up? Have we picked up pottery yet or no?
We hadn't picked up pottery until yes. While I was at Bloomberg, I picked up pottery.
And how did you get into it?
I was living in Carroll Gardens, Brooklyn at the time. There was a studio right around the corner from me. It was like one of those paint your own pot studios, but it had an actual clay wheel studio down in the basement. So, you know, it comes back around to me knowing that I was supposed to do this. And so I said, well, stress on the job. I'm going to see if this helps out.
Balance.
And never look back. Never stop.
So how long did it take you to develop your style or your form?
A long time. You know, I've always been kind of looking for my little niche in the ceramic world. And, you know, I've been making bowls and I've been making vases, constant vases, always making vases. And then I got really good at doing the really long neck, you know, thin, long neck vases. And I would say probably not until maybe 2 years ago did I find my path,
Your rhythm.
my rhythm. Yeah. And it came in parts. It came in parts. There's that rhythm that I have with my pots that are hand painted, that abstract fine art background that I have. And then I decided that, you know, when I first started ceramics, I decided that, oh, I want my work to be in a gallery, and, you know, and then I realized that, well, these are not gallery worthy. You have to really be big, you know, have a big giant pieces, or
It'll come.
I don't know that I want that anymore, you know.
Okay.
So what I did was I developed these, and you had posted one, these red sun vases, the black, white, and the red. And my focus there was to be on the more of the design side. Sorry, work is calling me as usual. So I wanted to be more on the design side of ceramics, but also have the fine art side too. So that's why I have two bodies of work. But it took quite a bit of time for me to get there.
So, okay, while you are doing this as a side job, how many hours a week, a day would you put into this to become good at it?
A lot. I'd been managing that studio. I ended up managing that studio over in Carroll Gardens after a while. First starting as a tech there, then became the manager there.
Okay, so give me an example, right? You go to your regular job.
Yes.
It's 8 to 5, 7
Yeah.
to 4.
Yes.
And then you would come home.
And then I would come home and go to the studio.
How long would you be in the studio?
Well, since it was right around the corner, I had a key to go in anytime I wanted. Then you know, I would be there till midnight if I could. There were nights that I couldn't sleep. I would get up at 2 o'clock in the morning, go to the studio, work for a couple hours, and then come back.
Wow.
So I put in a lot of time, but I mean, that's not even half of what I've done. You know, I mean, I teach ceramics as well now. And the studio where I teach, I actually built out that studio.
What do you teach?
Huh?
Where do you teach?
It's called the Educational Alliance.
Where's that?
It's down in the Lower East Side, between Jefferson and Clinton on East Broadway. And it's like on the border of Chinatown. Yeah, in the Lower East Side.
Okay.
So I built out their studio. It all came around luck. Because I had been in other studios, managing other studios and changing studios, and I moved out of one studio, and I was going to take a break from ceramics at that point. And this opportunity just landed right in my lap.
Was it time for you to take a break?
Right. Yeah.
So.
Yeah. So I came in, I built out the studio where I teach, and then started teaching there as well. And then gave up the whole management of the studio. They brought somebody else in. And I was teaching there until COVID. I was teaching there 3 nights a week as well.
How many hours a day would you teach?
3 hours per day. Monday,
Three times a week.
Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 6:30 to like 9.
Okay.
Did I
Your
lose?
screen just blacked out.
Yeah, what's that about?
I don't know. Are you on your computer?
No, I'm on my phone.
Yeah, I can hear you. I can't. I mean, it's a pretty cool design. Maybe something you should put on your pots.
I don't know where it came from though.
Me either. Wait.
Let me see. That's weird. Okay, that's weird.
There we go.
Yeah. I just had to flip the camera around.
They say when you do it right, it works.
That's yeah. So I was teaching there 3 nights a week, working my day job, left my day job, and to go teach 3 nights a week, and from about 6:30 to 9, and then home. But then I also work out of my studio here in Brooklyn, which is a public studio called Brooklyn Clay. And so I sometimes go straight to the studio and make there my own work.
Okay, let me ask you this, and I'm asking you this because I want to know.
Okay.
In doing clay, how many people look like you?
Not very many. I can count them. Yeah.
Because when me looking for other ceramicists to have conversations with, there's Black ceramicists, but that's a collection of ceramicists from all over the world.
Right.
And then when you move to one place, it's different.
Yes. Yes.
So Jackie is obviously in New York as well.
Jackie's a ceramicist in New York as well. Yes.
Because I'm a woodworker and I'm a sawyer as well. And
how many people look like you in that industry?
Let me explain this to you, right?
Okay.
My industry has a lot of different limbs. Okay. There's the tree cutting, right? Once the tree goes down, there's the transporting.
Right.
Right. And then it comes to me. I take that tree and I slice it into lumber.
Right.
Right. And then I store that tree. I also dry that tree. Right. Okay. And once that tree is dried, I either sell it, I store it, or I make furniture out of it.
Okay. All right.
Then it will come to my shop. I have a 5,000 square foot shop where we make furniture. Coach is my client, L'Oreal, the city, Brooklyn Children's Museum, you name it. Now, on all of those different limbs, none. The tree cutting, I've met Black tree cutters that work for the city.
Okay.
Furniture makers, there's a few scattered all over. I think there's a couple of guys in Brooklyn, but not enough. And the tree cutting, a lot of the stuff counts labor.
Right.
So it's not things that require you to have a college degree. Yeah. So all of the brothers that I see and know that are out of work, I'm like, you could be in this industry. Because the people I meet in this industry, a lot of them are not educated at all. They're not even civilized.
Right.
But because of access, because of opportunity, we're blocked out of this stuff.
You're right.
And that's why we don't see a lot of us in it. I remember I collected Porsches. I did a lot of different things. And a lot of it was hobbies. And I would always wonder why there are not more Black people in these hobbies.
Right, right.
And I figured it out.
Tell me.
50 years ago, what were we doing?
50 years ago?
Yeah, 50 years ago.
We were running.
Exactly. Exactly. So most of the men that I met that did this were older white men, 60, 70 years old.
Right, right.
And some of them were second generation craftsmen, whether it was woodworkers, whether it was a car mechanic, whether it was working on old engines, whatever it was, they got it from their fathers.
Right, right.
And when you transfer that to people of color, my grandfather work was in the military. My dad was a mechanic at a tech school, but there was no access, there was no opportunity. These were all little things that was doors that was open from them for them to keep them in these spaces to not go beyond that.
Oh, sure, sure, of course.
So now that you and I are here many years later, we can explore.
Right, right.
But it's not a part of our culture.
Right.
Well, I mean, we did a lot of carpentry. And there were a lot of things we did until there was money involved in it.
Yeah.
But I take responsibility in trying to further my culture in doing this by sometimes hiring young kids to try to train them. But that's difficult too because there's a different mentality.
Yeah, yeah.
So that was my question to you about the places that you teach and work, about other people that look like us.
Right. Well, you know, there really isn't anybody that looks like me where I teach. There are other people that look like me in the studio where I work, make my work.
Now,
but as a male, there's there's probably just me.
Okay, let's put that in perspective.
Yes.
How many people of color are in Brooklyn?
A lot.
A lot.
Yes.
So you get this concentrated area and there have to be a few.
Right.
But in normal places, it's even less.
Well, one of the reasons is that ceramics is an expensive, a hobby, or classes are not cheap here in New York City. And, you know, it's not as accessible to everybody.
Yep.
Right. Here's something interesting. I was working on a nonprofit called what was it called? People's Public Pottery, and it was to go into the underprivileged neighborhoods, schools, and promote and make available ceramics. Unfortunately, COVID killed that too. It may start up again after, at a later time, but we were supposed to be doing some outreach to the schools and things like that to make ceramics available to people who would not normally have it available to them.
And it was just, it hadn't got off the ground yet.
No.
And COVID prevented it.
Yes. Yes.
Texture of the Soul, who also looks like us. She does leather. Any of your students look like you?
Any of my students?
Yes.
No. No.
Okay.
Every now and then, maybe.
Now, when they come in, do you find that they take it serious or they're just curious?
Some are serious, some are curious. I mean, I have all my students are typically return.
No, students of color.
Students of color. They don't stay very long. Yeah.
Now, what do you mean? How long is a class?
Well, the class is 10 weeks. It's a 10-week session. And
That's a commitment.
I had a woman of color come in one time and do one class and then ask for a refund. and it wasn't what she was expecting, I suppose.
Right.
I've had other students of color though come in and stay the whole session or come back the next session. So they were younger, and I think that they had the capability of being able to afford it as well.
How much is a class?
Classes usually run about $4.95, I believe.
Okay, Jackie Johnson said you don't usually get a lot from one class.
What's
so
that?
How many? She says wow, you don't get much from one class. How?
Yes, true.
How many classes should, if someone was interested, they would take one 10-week class and then another 10-week class?
Yes, it comes in like different sessions. It's almost quarterly. 4 times a year, those sessions run.
Okay, and it's just 1 and 2. It's not 1, 2, 3, and 4.
What do you mean?
When you said quarterly, 4 times a year, is it different levels, or it's just 1, 2, and then it starts 1, 2?
No, it's not different levels. My classes are all different levels in one class, from beginners to people who've been doing it for years.
Okay, so they just go in and you help them along at wherever they are.
Wherever they are, yes.
Okay. And how big is a class?
The class is it's 11 people.
Okay.
And it could be less. It could 11 or less.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
All right. So you're teaching, you're working. What was the first piece you sold?
When do I sleep? Is that what you're gonna ask?
Right. That is a good question.
Yes. I basically come home, I go to sleep, I get up and do it the next day,
What was the first piece you sold? When did you know that you can do this?
First piece I sold. Oh, that was a long time ago.
Actually, remember that.
I didn't sell it. I actually gave it to a silent auction. And somebody that I know purchased it from that silent auction. So that's kind of the first piece that I sold.
But did you know at that point that you were onto something, or were you still finding your way?
I'm still finding my way. I was still finding my way. I'm my biggest critic. So, I'm thinking to myself, oh, they're just saying that. They it's not really that great,
Right. Okay, so at what point were you comfortable enough to say, okay, I can do this. I can make something of this?
Probably about 3 years ago, that I really started to kind of find my way in ceramics and have my own style. And then people were starting to notice. And then I sold a couple pieces, word of mouth, within the studio that I was in. And then I decided, okay, well, maybe I'm onto something here. And I love to experiment. So I'm always like looking at different glaze applications and different ways of taking very traditional shapes and making the glaze do the work.
Right.
Right.
So when you started doing pottery,
mm-hmm.
were you at a point to where you were kind of impatient about that part because you knew that you were a very good, sufficient painter, and you wanted to paint on it?
No, I was never impatient about it.
Okay.
No, I was always experimental. Definitely experimental, but never impatient about it. I wanted to know every single facet of how it's done, how the kilns work. I learned everything about ceramics, and that is what really kind of guided me to be able to experiment and find my way.
Okay. Yeah. Jackie asks, timeline question. How many years had he been in ceramics by the time she met you in the shop?
Yeah, Jackie and I used to be in the same studio. And that was, oh God, 2009, I want to say. 2000.
Oh, so you've been going for a bit.
I've been doing ceramics for almost 17 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
Where's the furthest you've traveled for?
For ceramics?
Yeah.
To the Mediterranean.
What'd you do there?
Well, I was partying. It was in Ibiza, but there was also a potter there.
There's some in the neighborhood.
Just stopping by.
So when you got there, what happened? Did you take any classes? Did you talk?
No. The guy didn't speak English at all, so it was like I went, checked out his studio. It was beautiful, all outside on the island of Ibiza, and just beautiful pots. I actually have one here. I brought home with me, and but an actual ceramics trip.
Yes.
Was in London, or outside of London, in southern England, in Devon and Cornwall.
So what'd you do there?
I went shopping. There's a lot of potters out in that area in Cornwall, and it's in the southern portion of England, and there's a lot of potters there. And I go out to see some friends who have a home there, but I also love to do my ceramic shopping there too.
Okay.
Yeah.
So being a ceramicist and a student of it and a collector of it, is there any particular thing that you look for?
I look
when
for
you purchase.
Yeah, I look for uniqueness. I love color, so I look for things that have a unique style or an abstract sense about them. And then there's things that are just like, black and white, that just the shape is elegant, and but the glaze is simple. It just depends. It's whatever catches my eye. Okay. I have a collection, probably about 90 pieces of cups and mugs that I've collected from different artists all over the country and all over the world. I have cups from Japan. I have cups from the UK. I have cups from Spain. From Russia. I have a cup from Russia. I love collecting and supporting other artists as well. And there was a time where I had a good chunk of money to be able to do it. But,
right.
I spent a lot of money like a couple years ago doing that.
Okay, so here we go.
Yeah.
Right, we got 9 minutes. Aphids pottery interjected at the correct time.
Say what?
Aphids pottery interjected at the correct time. We got 9 minutes.
Okay.
Can we see your collection and your art? Whatever you got there that's with you.
Okay, so I'll take you around. So this is actually my home studio here.
Okay, now you can turn that camera around if you want.
Okay.
There you go.
All right. So here's my home studio. Here's my wheel. All my tools. This is the work. It's a little sunny in here. This is all new inventory that I'm working on.
Wow. Beautiful.
All right. So I'm doing these cups. And I titled these cups quarantine cups because I'm doing them all while in isolation.
Nice.
All right. So those are in progress. Those I just finished trimming.
All right.
These are the cups. There's my fan. So these are the cups in the different colors. So there's gray, there's a matte black, there's a red, a white, and a tomoku, which is like a kind of like gold specks So
Very nice.
those are the prototypes, if you will.
Okay.
This is my kind of inventory shelves. These are all the cups that I've had fired, done the first firing for. Some
Okay.
bowls. I've also done some rakus, so I've got some pieces like that.
Okay, what's raku?
Raku is it's a Japanese version of firing ceramics where you fire the pieces in the kiln. You can see it's iridescent. And you fire the pieces in the kiln, you pull them out while they're glowing hot, and you put them in a combustible in a galvanized metal trash can. Combustibles can be like leaves or sawdust or paper, and then you cap it off, you let it smoke, and all the ash and there's a whole lot of reduction that's happening there.
And it creates a texture.
And it creates texture and the different colors within the glazes themselves.
Wow.
Yeah.
I got sawdust.
You got sawdust? All right.
If you need it, I got it.
Next, I'll ring you up next time. I'm go do this.
All right.
All right. Here's some of the cups in my collection. I don't have enough cabinet space to have them all in, so. I just recently did like a collection tour on Zoom with some of my students, but there are tons of them. My kitchen cabinets are full. Some more vases that I'm working on.
Beautiful.
So these will be 2 red sun vases. This is another vase that I did many, many years ago, and somebody just gave me these sunflowers, and
spot on.
And it's I mean the colors are exact.
Okay, while we're doing this, what's the oldest piece that you own that you did that's there?
I can't show it to you because it's packed up, but I have my very first piece that I've ever thrown.
Okay.
Yeah. But it's packed in a box. So, oh no, it's actually in the studio. Right. So yeah, it was a little tiny bowl, but I still have it. I used to keep it in a refrigerator to hold ketchup packages. I'll show you some of my paintings real quick.
Okay. You got time. We got 5 minutes. You good?
Okay. So just so you know, I'm really a big fan of Basquiat.
Nice.
And I have a lot of, these are not real. You know, this one is the one that sold to a Japanese guy for like $110 million. And I say mine is $110.
And that's a paint.
But I have all kinds of these prints at home, and I love his work, and my work looks really interesting next to this work. So this is one of my paintings. This one's kind of dark, you know, in a mood kind of sense. Right?
I like it.
And then this is another one. This was a friend of mine that I painted.
Where's he now?
He lives in Staten Island.
Okay.
Yeah. And then I have some other ones. Oh no, I guess I don't. They're all like in storage.
All right.
I wanted to show you this because you didn't ask me this question yet. You usually ask somebody what's your favorite book, right?
No.
No, you don't do that?
No, you got the wrong brother. I don't read.
Oh. All right. Well, I'm going to show you this because I think this is important.
You know what? I may have asked that early on and changed that.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm going to show you. We
got into more thought. What is your favorite book?
Well, I'm going to show you my favorite book. I lost this book, and then I found it again. I had to purchase it again. It is a book by Sue Ko, and it is about Malcolm X. And
Beautiful.
Suko's like a political graphic artist. This book takes you through 1955 to 1965, and it lists all of the civil rights events that happened during that period.
Wow, very nice.
So I found this book, and then while I was living in Washington, D.C., there was a gallery right at DuPont Circle that actually had prints. And I actually went and bought this print from the gallery.
Wow.
And it's a Suko. I don't know if you can read it. It says capitalism in the snake.
It's exactly what it is.
Yeah. So I purchased this print, framed and everything, for $125.
Wow.
This artist Suko, if you look her up, and
okay, Kyle, this is what we're going to do. We're going to get off, and we're going to get back on.
Okay.
All right. So, because we have 48 seconds, so we're going to restart it, and then we start again.
Okay. I'll try that.
All right. So we get off, and we get right back on. All right. Bye.
Okay. All right. I think we got it. Yeah.
Yep.
Excellent.
We had a question.
Uh-huh.
Humble Matter asked if you had you given up painting altogether. Well, you haven't, because you paint on your pots.
I paint on my pots, yeah.
What about on canvas?
No, I haven't painted in a really long time on canvas.
Why not?
I really want to, but remember that time limitation I have with my life?
You obviously don't, because you keep doing stuff.
Yeah, I know. I know. I really, there was a point where I really wanted to paint again, and maybe I will at some point. You know, it just isn't the focus right now.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, someone also asked, Aphids Pottery, what question did you ask? She was asking about the medium you use with painting and why. Sorry, Aphids Pottery, we ended it, I couldn't ask your question. So if you could repeat it, I greatly appreciate it. It's gonna come up. So what's next for you? Where do you want to go? What have you not done in this industry that you want to do?
Okay. Well, there's a lot happening right now. With the environment that we're in, with the movement that we're watching happen, I've sold out of every piece that I had in my inventory. So I'm trying to build that up again.
Good for you.
And everything is kind of happening right now. I've just been contacted by West Elm. I've been kind of represented in Architectural Digest, in
Nice.
Elle Decor. I'm doing a design, a gaming application contacted me, and they're like a room design gaming application, and they want to use my pieces in their, it's a mobile app, a mobile gaming app, and you can take a empty room and you can put a sofa in it. You can add a table.
And one of them will be your pieces.
Right.
Sweet. Okay.
Yeah.
Aphids Pottery asks, I was wondering what medium you are using for your paintings, and is there a reason why, acrylic or oil?
I'm not painting though. On my ceramics, I use underglazes.
Ah, there you go, Aphids Pottery. He uses underglaze.
I use underglaze for abstract painting on my ceramics, and then I just simply put a clear glaze over top.
And Texture of the Soul goes, there goes that time thing. You're absolutely right.
What's that?
Texture of the Soul says, that goes that time thing.
Oh,
You're
yeah.
going to get busier.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, what made you come up with your company name, Jackie Jackson?
You know, it used to be a different name.
What was it?
It was, and my father came up with this. So he took my first name, my first initial K, my last name Lee, and we put a hyphen on that E that made it sound like clay. All right. So it used to be called Clay Makes Pottery, but nobody in their right mind in America could understand what the hyphen meant. So it was always Clay Makes Pottery. So I said, well, enough of that.
He was too smart for the rest of us.
Yeah. So I changed the name. Just for everybody in America. And Ceramic Meltdown just came to me. I was just kind of like thinking of ceramics and the whole idea about glazes melting in the kiln, and yeah, it just stuck.
All right, cool.
And it was fun. I think people like the name, actually.
Yeah, it is. It's catchy.
Yeah.
So, is there anything you have not done that you want to do in pottery?
In pottery, there is something that I'm going to be doing that I have not done, and it's quite an adventure, I am sure.
Can you share?
Yeah. In 2021, I'm going to be part of the St. Croix Pottery Tour in Minnesota.
Wow.
Which means, and it's a huge honor and event, you know, to be a part of this, because it's a huge pottery tour that, you know, people from Europe come to this pottery tour. So we're still not sure if it's going to be an on-site type of pottery tour like it normally would be. This year, it was a virtual one. And it might be a virtual one in 2021 as well. They're not 100% sure, but I have a year in which to make pieces for that.
And what time of year is it? Usually the summer like now?
It's around Mother's Day, so it's in May.
In Minnesota, I figured it'd probably be in the summer months.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think we're good. I think we covered it.
Cool.
Is there anything that I missed that you want? How do you do your marketing?
I do a lot on Instagram. That was my first. You know, like I said before, I'm like a big critic of my own, right? Of my own work. So when I started feeling like I was on a body of work that was acceptable for myself, I put that first pot out on Instagram, and I was terrified. And I got a great response, you know, for that piece. And so then I decided that, well, this is a great marketing tool, and I put more pieces out and more pieces out, and getting more responses and more responses, and then on top of it, my neighbor across the hall from me works for Facebook, and she's been giving me, now she doesn't have a business, she just works for them, but Facebook gives you ad credits every month. So she's been taking her ad credits,
hooking you up,
putting it towards and getting me more exposure.
That's what it's about.
Yeah. And then, you know, then I have friends on Instagram who have also really been behind me and supporting me. And I have to mention one who is Melissa Weiss. She's in North Carolina.
What's up, Melissa?
Hey, is she on?
No.
Oh, okay.
But if she happens to see this, what's up, Melissa?
No,
Who else?
Melissa's mad cool. I've taken workshops with her. I met her here in Brooklyn. She lives in North Carolina. She's in Nashville, and she was doing a pottery exhibit here, or a sale here at Renegade.
Okay.
And I met her there, and we've just stayed in touch, and gotten to be friends. And we I did the Brooklyn Pottery Invitational about 2 years ago. She did it last year, and it's there's a little group of us that are kind of tight.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's good. Okay. So would you ever consider doing this and only this?
I dream about that.
So that's what you want to do?
That's what I want to do.
So you want to start working for the man?
It's a scary move.
Trust me. I was at Four Seasons Hotel.
Yeah.
I was there for 20 years. Had 20 comp nights a year.
Uh-huh.
To stay anywhere Four Seasons in the world. I worked 4 days a week. I went to work at 5 p.m.
Yeah.
I made $120K. It was the life.
Yeah.
And then this came about, and I had to make a decision.
Yeah.
And it was so scary. It still is.
Yeah.
But that keeps me going. That motivates me. That keeps me pushing.
Yeah.
Because failure is not an option.
True. I wonder all the time. I always tell myself, if I didn't have to work 9 to 5 during the day, I could be spending all that time making more ceramics. I would have a huge inventory. But I also wouldn't have the 401k plan and the benefits and the salary that comes along with working in New York City, and probably couldn't afford the apartment that I'm in right now. So,
pretty nice, by the way. It's spacious.
What's that?
I say your apartment is pretty nice and spacious.
Oh yeah, no, it's nobody's ever lived in this apartment except for me.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, no, it's a brand new building. Building's only 2 years old, so I moved in about a year and a half ago.
All right. Yeah. Cool.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, I don't think there's any where else would I go, and what else would I want to do? Like I said, the whole gallery thing is kind of not a thing for me anymore.
Okay. Give it time.
Yeah.
Give it time.
So?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't. It can be out of your view at the moment.
Yeah.
But don't put it out of your mind.
Right. I'm also considering moving outside of New York City to a place that is affordable and where I can set up a studio and do my ceramics full time.
Have a nice spread. Have people come in, teach classes.
I could do that. Yeah.
The whole deal.
Right.
Don't go to Florida.
Don't. I've never been, and I don't intend to.
So what state would you want to do that in?
I still love Pittsburgh. I absolutely love Pittsburgh. Who's bothering me now?
And Jackie says make it big enough for her to do a sleepover clay studio.
Oh, good Lord. I don't have enough wine for that night.
You need space and wine.
Space and wine.
So, brother, thank you very much. I really appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you. It was a pleasure. Yeah.
Yep, same here. And thank you all for joining us. Absolute pleasure.
All right. Thank you, everyone.
All right, brother. Good night. Good night, all.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right.